Hey everyone, welcome to Fast Moving Consumer Goods, our weekly webinar that we do every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. So we're going to be starting at 4 o'clock. So please grab a notepad, a pen and a notepad so you can take notes, or your computer, and grab something to drink, a coffee, an iced tea, or a Calmara energy drink like I'm going to have. And for my second part, the iDrink. So we're going to be starting in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So we have the people who have joined through the webinar. So we'll be letting you in very soon to start at 4 o'clock. We also are live streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And also on my phone, we are doing TikTok Live. So we're going to be doing that right now. So very good. We're going to be starting soon. So please grab a drink and a cup of coffee, whatever you'd like, a notepad, and we're going to be starting at 4 o'clock. So in a few minutes, we're going to be starting. So very, very soon, we're going to be starting. Let's see. We're going to be starting soon. Fernando, are we all good? IT, we're ready to go? People are joining? Okay, so start letting people in. We're going to be starting at 4 o'clock. So in 2 more minutes, we're going to be starting. So everyone, come on in, get ready. We're going to be going over a webinar, how to launch a real consumer brands in 90 days. We've done it. We've done over 1,000 items. We've launched over 1,000 items. So we're going to be starting in a few minutes, and we're going to be going over one by one. So get in, get something ready, get some notes. If you don't have a pen and paper and don't take notes, that's okay. We're going to have this recording, and we're going to post it on our YouTube channel. So we'll go ahead at the end and put it in where it'll be on our YouTube channel. And then throughout the webinar, if you have any questions, please ask us questions. We'll be happy to answer your questions. We can do it at the end. We can do it at the beginning. However you like to do it. TikTok Live. If you have questions, please put them in the chat, ask questions, and we'll go ahead and answer your questions. So we got a few more minutes to wait. Fernando, we have people joining the webinar. So okay, let them join. We'll wait 1 more minute. At this time, we ask 2 things. We ask you to put on your camera so we can see you. Second, type in where you're from and what your product is, what kind of product you're launching. So you could be as vague as I'm launching an energy drink, or I'm launching a specific name, Calmara energy drink, or the iDrink, or you have an idea. And you can just put in there, my idea is, I don't have a name yet, but I'm thinking of launching a protein bar. So we'll go ahead and start right now. It is 4:01. So everyone, thank you for coming. We're going to be going over a webinar to launch a real consumer brand in 90 days. It's a blueprint that will make sure you don't make any costly mistakes. So the reason we can do this is because we've made every mistake in the book. So we're going to be able to go through and do it and not make any mistakes. So we have 30 years experience. Who we are. We're Fast Moving Consumer Goods. We're a group of entrepreneurs who've had 30 years experience launching products, both in the US and Mexico. We've done food products, beverages, cosmetics, all types of CPG brands, food, and now alcohol. We're going to be launching a alcohol program, so you can stay tuned. We'll be at a future webinar. If you are thinking about launching a spirits brand, an RTD or a tequila or a wine, we will be able to help you launch it nationwide. So that's who we are. We're an incubator. So it says in there we have an incubator. We'll talk a little bit more about our community. We have the largest LinkedIn group for CPG brands, over 41,000 people. That is free. So if you want to come in, go to LinkedIn, look up Fast Moving Consumer Goods, apply. We're a little bit behind. We could only bring in, I think, 200 or 300 people per day, and we're a little bit behind. So go ahead and do it. We'll let you join. We'll be having a lot of free content there. Also, you're able to go onto our YouTube channel. That's free also, and watch these webinars that we do week by week. So we'll go ahead and start there. What is an incubator? An incubator is that we help companies scale from 0 to 100 million in revenue. We have companies in the incubator. What we do is not rocket science, but we have a lot of experience. And what we do is we have lawyers, accountants, formulators, PR people, marketing, chief marketing officer, VP of sales. We help you with the whole chain. And basically, instead of you having to hire all these people, which is very difficult as a startup, you get all those people in our monthly program that we do. So let's go ahead and start. So we're sponsored by one of our sponsors, is CBG Experience. What they are, it's a group that does trade shows. So if you would like to do a trade show in the CBG space, instead of going and getting your own booth, a 10 by 10 booth, which you may think is kind of inexpensive, it starts at $10,000. When you're done, plus, you'll be at about $20,000. And so what Shannon at the CBG Experience does, he rents out a big space, like a 50 by 50 booth, and gives emerging brands a 4 by 4 space. And so you would be there with your brand. It could be Calmara, it could be the energy, the eye drink, it could be a protein bar. And so you would go there, you have your 4 by 4 booth. It's just enough they set it up for you. They bring all the product in for you. And then all you do is you're there to sell and take notes. They also invite buyers to come see the booth. From all over, and then at the end, you don't only get your leads, but you get the leads of all the other people. So one of our brands did a show a couple of months ago in Los Angeles, the NAMA show, and they ended up with 350 leads that they are now following up with. So it's a great way to do a trade show. They're experts. They've been doing it 30 years. So great group. We have a show coming up in San Diego in July. So if anyone, it's for the beverage space. So if anyone listening has a beverage and they want to come to San Diego and present, it's a little different. It's called ECRM. So think of it as speed dating for buyers. So all the buyers come in, you're at a table, a buyer comes to see you for 10 minutes, they leave, another buyer comes and sees you. So pretty exciting. We guarantee 20 to 25 meetings with buyers, and then you get the follow-up afterwards. So that's our sponsor. So thank you, Shannon, from CPG Experience. The anatomy of successful product launch. This is what it looks like. Very complicated, but there's layers, right? So we start with the bottom. We put them into 3 foundations, 3 layers, and we'll show you. We'll go over one by one and do the 3 layers. So what we help you do is come up with an idea to get ready to go onto the shelf in 90 days. So it's a structured blueprint. It's very organized. There's different levels that you have to do, instead of the other way that we see a lot of entrepreneurs who don't have a roadmap, don't have a blueprint. They're on the left side. This is a very, very important statistic. This is a Nielsen number. This is not our number. 85% of all packaged goods fail within the first year. So that's a challenge. It's not because they have a lack of passion or the product tasted bad or it wasn't a good idea. It was because there was poor execution. They did the incorrect order of operations, and there was a lot of guesswork. Because they haven't done it before, they did the things in the wrong order. And so what we want to make sure is you do the things in the right order, so you are part of the 15%. So part of one of the things we do when we take on a new client, and we will talk a lot about its successes, brands that have had success, but also there's been a lot of failure. So we ask people to go to their local 99-cent store, go look at the beverage section, or if the product isn't a 99-cent store, it's part of that 85%. So they have to sell it at a discount, a very low discount, like 60, 70 cents. Sell it for $1. So where normally a beverage or energy drink would sell for $2.99. So that would be part of what we talk about. So 90 days market, the FMC roadmap. There's 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2. We will get into all those phases, but basically it's building the platform, the basis of let's say you're building a house, you're building the foundation, and then the things come on after that. So launch and so on. So we got to make sure we do it in the right order. The trap of guessing. We meet a lot of entrepreneurs to the right where they're ready to delay or abandonment. They're a year into the process. They spent over $250,000 and maybe they don't have a minimal viable product, or maybe they do have a minimal viable product, but they still haven't launched yet. So we take all those things and put them into a structure that you'll be able to do. So there's a few myths that we want people to really understand. We meet a lot of people who haven't been through this before. They're not experienced CEOs who have launched a brand before. So there's a couple of myths that they want to do. One is if my idea is so good that it'll sell by itself. Okay, not true. Great products fail all the time. So it's because of margins. They didn't figure the right margins for retailers, for distributors. Also, the sequence that determines their survival. They also think they have to have the most perfect product in the world, and they're not thinking about the business. And we look at it the other way around. We look at the business, we look at the margins, we look at those things. And then also the other myth is that they want to order too much. They want to order a truckload to get the best price because they feel they need the best price. And we turn that myth on its head, and we come up with proof of concept first to make sure the product sells. Even if you're selling it, think of it as marketing. You have a limited supply of products that may cost you $5 and you're selling for $3. Doesn't fit in your cost of goods sold, but at least we're testing the market. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So those are some of the dangerous myths that entrepreneurs find themselves in. So main point number 2, the 90-day execution framework. We put it into foundation and IP, customer avatar, supply chain mastery, brand and OTC, and retail and capital. So we have clear weekly milestones with defined deliverables. So who we are, we told you about the group. It's a group of entrepreneurs who have been doing this for 30 years in the fast-moving consumer goods. We built distribution companies both in the U.S. and Mexico. Jorge had a company that distributed over the 17,000 stores, and we own the Miller Beer distributor in San Diego, California. And one of our companies in our incubator, we were fortunate enough to take it public on the NASDAQ, and that's the two of us there on the bell ringing. Who we are, we've launched over 1,000 products. We've also written several books on it. Both myself and Jorge, we have over 10 books that we've written in the CBG space, our latest one being Wholesale MBA. This was my first book that I wrote, is how to do business in Mexico, discover the treasure map. So very successful book on Amazon bestseller. We helped bring brands into Mexico. This was back in 2007, 2008. And then our latest book is Wholesale MBA. So you are able to, anyone, get an MBA in wholesale distribution. You can go on the Amazon, buy the book and read it. If you do, you will probably not need a lot of the things we're talking about because you're going to be an expert. But most people don't read the book. And so they come and hire us to tell us everything that's in the book. But you can go out and get the book, figure out how you want to see if you want to work with us. So my name is Sandro Piancone. I'm one of the co-founders, and Jorge Olson is my co-founder. As we talked about, we've launched over 1,000 consumer products from food, beverage, supplements, alcohol. We help with formulation, manufacturing, supply chain, online sales, wholesale distribution, retail sales, and export to Mexico if that is something you want to do. So you can see we have alcohol, tequila on the left. On the right, we have the iDrink, which I'm going to be cracking open in a little bit. And then Calamara. And then the one I have on the right is my mouthwash, that all natural mouthwash that I have from a local dentist here in San Diego. These are partners we work with to help launch products. So on the left is the boss, Rick Ross. In the center is Snoop Dogg. And on the right are Cheech and Chong icons. So we've helped them with consumer packaged goods from gummies to beverages. So here's a little bit more, the map, the 90-day blueprint, where we have from idea to global brand exit. And we're going to go into each one by one, from how the corporate setup and IP protection all the way to a potential exit. So we're going to show you the steps that are taken to do that. So pillar number one, building the foundation. If you don't mind, I know everyone's at home. I'm going to crack open a Calmara. That is one of our clients in the incubator. This is the pineapple, Zen pineapple. And as we speak, our team is working on a new formula for them, which is cherry blossom. So pillar number one, probably the most important thing before we recommend, if you were to work with us, is we have to set up the correct corporation. So we do a C corporation and a zero state tax like Nevada or Wyoming. It doesn't matter where you are. Some accountants and lawyers will say, well, you live in California, you have to file a California corporation. Not true. It's where the business is. So you can live in California and the brand is owned by a corporation in Nevada. So we help you do that. There's a couple of reasons why we do that. There's a couple of reasons. One is you want to pay zero taxes as you grow, but also investors, like when they invest in companies, very hard, very wonky to invest in an LLC. Even though you might say, hey, I'm not looking for investors or have my own startup capital, you do want a C Corp. But also the reason is if there's an exit, we will show you how to pay zero capital gains. It only works on a C Corp. Does not work on an LLC, does not work on a S Corp. So that's pillar number one. Pillar number two, IP. You want to own your trademark, okay? Please, please, please do not go out and start selling or even talking to anyone unless you have your trademark registered. So we have an attorney that will do free trademark searches by class. He will give you a percentage, 80 to 90% if it'll go through, and then go ahead and file by class. A lot of people want to patent the formula. That's not something you can do. You can't patent a formula. People think you can, but you can't. You can do copyright, so you can maybe do the colors. Those of you who've seen the purple and black Think and Grow, the Rich Dad Poor Dad series, that is copyrighted on the book. So another person can't do that on the books. Pillar number three, as you set it up and you start doing formulations, doing things, you can qualify for up to $500,000 in research and development tax credits. And a lot of people are saying, hey, I'm just a startup. What do I need to worry about that? Well, you maybe have another business. You may be thinking of doing this. You could use these both as tax credits for the business, but also you can write it off your payroll taxes for your existing business. And I'm sure anyone who has a business has payroll tax, you can use that against it. Number two, very, very important. After we have the corporation and everything set up, we want to make sure we have the right product market fit, right? So we want to know who your buyer is. Before we go to formulation, before we design packaging, before we do all those things, we need to know who your target market is. Who is that customer that's going to buy it? So we spend a lot of time on that, working on who your avatar is. Who's the perfect buyer? A lot of my clients say, oh, it's everyone or anyone can buy my product. That's probably true, but the product has to be designed for a certain person. So even though it could be male instead of female, a 14 to 18-year-old consumer is a lot different than a 50 to 70-year-old consumer. So that will dictate the price, the size, the look and feel, the taste. 14 to 18-year-olds aren't worried about sugar. They can have as much sugar as they want, or someone maybe 50 to 70 is looking for a sugar-free product. So we really need to understand who your demographic are. What are their pain points? What kind of problem is your product solving, right? In business, to be successful, there needs to be a problem, and your product is solving the problem. They're not buying a drink to be hydrated, let's call it, because they could drink water from the tap, right? They could do that, right? So what you need to do is have a problem, a pain point, and then solve that problem. And that goes back to the demographics. Who's your customer? Where are they buying? What are their purchase habits? Do they order online? Do they order at a liquor store? Do they go to a supermarket? What kind of buyer are they? Are they a Whole Foods buyer or a Sprouts buyer? Two different buyers. Are they a Vons buyer? So those are all the kind of things that we will work on you before we even discuss the product and the formulation and the packaging, because that could all change. Step three, we get to supply chain mastery, right? We get to ingredients, right? We talk about what kind of ingredients, because if we already know who the customer is and where they're going to buy it and what's their purchase power and what price do we want to be at, what margin, then we could talk about what kind of ingredients will go into it. So now that's part of the formulation. We need to know, are you going to sell it online? Are you going to sell it in stores? What kind of manufacturer do you need? So do they need to be GMP, NSF? We help you with all that. We also find two co-manufacturers for you, a plan A and a plan B, for two reasons. One is because even though you may like one manufacturer, God forbid there's a flood, a fire, an earthquake, and we've seen it all in 30 years, you need a plan B, someone that has your recipes and can go on and make it. Also, depending on what their MOQ is, some manufacturers just want to deal in truckloads or multiple truckloads, where at the beginning you aren't able to do that, right? You won't be able to do that. So what you're going to have to do is order from a smaller manufacturer, pay a little bit more, but have smaller MOQs. And then last but not least, logistics, 3PL logistics. Most people we meet, most entrepreneurs, they want to pick and pack in their garage, right? They're trying to save money. And three things are bad with that. Number one, they think they're saving money, but a lot of the logistics companies have really deep discounts with FedEx, UPS, USPS. They could pick and pack and ship cheaper than you can, but also you could be at work, you could be flying around the world, you could be on vacation. The pick and pack center, that's all they do. They're pick and pack and shipping your product. But also they're insured. They are connected. They have all the software to connect to Amazon, to Shopify, to TikTok, to all those different ones. So that's why we recommend to do that. And later, as you grow, and if you're going to go public, from an audit standpoint, you're going to save hundreds of thousands of dollars, because now they don't have to come in and audit your warehouse. They just take it from them and say they trust that they will be able to. It's called third party, hands length. So they'll be able to do it. So then the most important part, the fun part we get to after we get through all these things, is the branding, right? What does it look like? And we'll work with you to hear about the story, the lore, why you developed the product. And then we can start building the logo, the packaging, all the digital storefronts. People want to start here and then move backwards. So we also, a lot of our clients want to go straight to retail and start selling retail. And we don't like that plan. We want you to start working on direct to consumer. Why is that? If you go to sell in retail, there's a gatekeeper, right? It's the buyer. And that buyer is looking at thousands of products. He doesn't have room on his shelf. He will tell you that he'll look at it in 2027. But you have expenses, you have rent, you have product, right? You have inventory, you need to sell it. So who doesn't have a gatekeeper is TikTok. And TikTok is growing so fast. We will help you build a store on TikTok, have a program on TikTok, how to launch in TikTok. We have already 100 affiliates that will be affiliates for your product, and you'll be able to launch that product. So then what happens is you could talk to your customer. You could see price points. You could see flavors. You could talk to your clients. You could do lives, TikTok lives. You can ask your clients, like we're doing now, right? We're a TikTok live. People can ask us all kinds of questions that they might have, and we can answer them. This is why you would go to D2C first, and then later get into retail. And what we find amazing is if it's working on TikTok and you're starting to gain traction, the buyers are calling you, and which is a much easier sell when the buyer calls you than what it is to do it. But if you are one of the brands that has capital, you have inventory, you're ready for prime time, we do help people launch into stores like Sprouts, like Home Lots, like different ones like that. So that is something that we can definitely do for you. So retail strategy. I took my for my next one. So retail strategy, we help you with buyer presentation. We make sure we help you with mastering slotting fees, broke fees, road shows, trade shows. They will ask you to come do trade shows, all those kind of things that we'll do. So we can definitely help you to do that as you go. And then the last is capital raising. With our clients, we teach you from the beginning how to set it up. So if you need to raise capital, which a lot of entrepreneurs will need to raise capital, maybe not at the beginning, but in their entrepreneurial journey, they will start needing to raise capital for good reasons. Well, two reasons. One is the plan didn't go as planned and they need to pivot. So now they need to raise capital, or the plan's going very well and they're getting purchase orders from Target or Walmart for $600,000 and they need capital to fill the purchase order. So all those things come into effect. We help it. So there's a lot of ways to raise capital. There's seed funding, which they usually call friends and family, a Reg CF crowdfunding, Reg A, IPO. We've been through an IPO. There's different types. There's alternative finance like PO financing, AR financing, supply chain financing. All those things come into play. Cost of implementation, there's the solo route, doing it yourself, guessing every time you want to come up with a plan. What we notice is sometimes we'll get on calls with founders and they have their lawyer on the phone who knows nothing about the CPG business, trying to negotiate the contract for manufacturing, which is not the right thing. Or the CPA, or worse, the co-man is on there trying to convince us why they have to do a truckload. So there is a right way to do it. There's a structured way to do it. That's how it is over here, which is legal, finance, product development, and manufacturing. So we will show you guys how to do that. A little bit about exits. I love this story a lot. 3 years ago, you probably never heard of Poppi, but if you did, it was the bottle on the left. It was a apple cider vinegar. It was healthy, good for you with prebiotics, and it looked like a medicinal product. And so a fund went in, invested in them, and said, "Hey, we need to re-architect the whole thing." And so they went in. They see what is now Poppi. They brought TikTok influencers. They grew the whole company with TikTok influencers, DSD, distributors, brokers. They incentivized them with stock options. And fast forward 3 years, they sold the company for $1.95 billion to Pepsi, which is 19 times revenue. So basically, they're at a $100 million run rate. So pretty cool, right? That's pretty cool that worked out. So the incubation worked the way they wanted it to work, but you could see when they first came out, it was a medicinal looking product, right? Mother beverages. And 3 years later, you all know it as Poppi. This one is another exit, which is a great story. Once Upon a Farm started here in San Diego, California. It started in a garage in University City. I was fortunate enough to meet the founder about 2 months ago. He was speaking at an event and I went early, got to meet him, stayed later, and then invited him to lunch. And he told me a little bit about how they started and then what happened. And then Jennifer Garner, when Jennifer Garner came in as a partner, and then they had an exit. They had a New York Stock Exchange. They went public for $724 million. So that was done the same way with TikTok influencers. As you can see, the product now, you'll find it in Target. You'll find it in all kinds of places that are there. And then Souse is the next Poppi that is growing tremendously well. So eliminating some of the friction. Our program is really for people that have a full-time job. They want to launch a product. They have an idea and they say, well, I'd really like to do it, but I don't have enough time. And so our program allows them to do it. It's built for full-time professionals. We ask that you work 1 to 2 hours per week with our structured roadmap, right? That's what we do. We also design specifically for first-time founders. And why do I say that? Someone who's been through the rodeo, has been through the founder before, yes, we're helpful, but we're really more helpful for people that have never done it before. And then really it's a sequence. That's really what we do is we have a step-by-step sequence to make sure you don't make any mistakes. And we do them one by one. And there will be pivots, there will be little mistakes, but not costly ones. So that's what we help you do. So what we have is we have a 12-week launch incubator. There's 2 ways you can work with us. One is you can work with us as a VIP client. Come on once a week. We would meet with you for an hour. You get both myself and Jorge, and it's one-on-one personal VIP. And then after the call, we work on doing it. Some of the people aren't able to afford that. It's too expensive. So they come into our I'm going to call it our group incubator program. So it's both videos. So we have a 12-week video modules that you would look at one by one. Week by week, you look at the modules. Then once a week, you jump on. We have live group founder calls. So both me and Jorge, but you're with a lot of other founders and entrepreneurs asking questions. Also, we have a launch planner. We call it, it's week by week. So it's what we talked about in the video with things for you to work on. Let's call it homework. Unlimited help desk. So let's say you're on the call and after the call, you say, oh, I forgot what it was that you needed, then you could send an email and we'll be able to answer you. And then, of course, probably the thing that's the most valuable is trusted introduction. So we give you all of our formulators, co-mans, retail buyers, anything that you need for that. So think about this. Fast forward 90 days. We're sitting at June, July, August, September 4th. What would happen is you would have the corporation structured in the right state. You would have your tax optimization. You'd have your trademarks filed and IP fully protected. You would have a manufacturer ready to go. We would work on you with margins, so on, and you'd have a product ready to go, what we call a minimal viable product. So that's what we would end up with after 90 days working with us. Let me go here. So at this time, we like to open it up to questions. So there's two ways you can ask any questions that you want. You can raise your hand. Let me see here. Fernando, you're going to have to help me here. Raise your hand and answer questions, or I will drop in the chat. For those of you who are not in the webinar, you can just shoot that right there and scan it and set an appointment with us. So you can set an appointment if you'd like to work with us. And it could depend where you are in your entrepreneur journey. It could be, I just have an idea and I need help with formulations. We can help you with that. We have the 12-week program. We can help you with that. Or you already have a product. It's already made and you need help selling it. We have a TikTok agency that can help you with that. And also a retail, again, depending where you are, a retail program to sell into retail. But you need to have the right financing. You need to have the right inventory levels to go into retail, right? So it's there. So at this time, hold on. Let me see here. I got quite a few people on there. If someone has questions, please raise your hand. We'll unmute you. Let's see. Oh, we already put it in there for a one-on-one call. You can do it. I don't know if everyone on YouTube can see that. So you can set up for a call. And then also, I'll drop it into here, but also a YouTube channel. This will be in our YouTube channel tomorrow. So you can go on and do it there. We'll be able to do it. So questions. Does anyone have questions on the webinar? I got Shabu. How are you? I will unmute you. Can you hear me? Nice to meet you. Where are you from? Oh, what part? Okay. So tell me, what kind of product are you thinking of launching, or maybe you've launched already? I love butter chicken, by the way. Okay. So let's go back a few steps. Congratulations on selling thousands of them. Are you making them in a commercial kitchen now? Okay. Yeah. So two things. You don't have to go get a facility like in the old days. You'd have to go and spend, $250,000 to open a kitchen. You can rent a kitchen, right? That's one way to do it. So you have all the permits, insurance, and all that, because God forbid someone gets sick or sues or think they got sick from your product and they sue. You want to say, I made it in this kitchen. That's step number one. Or we can find what's called a co-manufacturer. We could find someone that will make it for you. So your hands are clean, right? You give them the recipe, you go train them how to do it, and then they make the product for you. What's the delivery vehicle? Is it a can? Is it a bottle? Is it glass? Beautiful. Beautiful. Here's the other thing. While you're doing that, here's what I recommend to everyone on the call, everyone here, everyone on TikTok, everyone on LinkedIn, to really test, really test the market, right? Really test the market is you make some of these products. Doesn't have to be in Tetra Pak, it can be in glass, and do a weekly farmers market. So I'm sure in Reading they have a farmers market, correct? Okay. So everyone listening should go to a farmer's market because you're going to meet very interesting. You're going to have old people, young people, healthy people, hippies. Everyone's going to walk by, and you're going to show them the product. You're going to talk about the product. You're going to say all these things about the product, and then talk about the price points. And they're going to give you feedback. Hey, I would buy this. I'm going to buy it right now. Or hey, I don't like the glass, or I don't like the color. Why is it yellow? Or whatever they're going to say. Right? Doesn't matter. That's two reasons. You're getting immediate feedback and you're getting cash, right? Because they're buying. But that was so 2024. What we're doing now is you're going to do that. You're going to have a tent with a table and you're going to do it. But then you're going to have someone set up a phone like this, and you're going to go TikTok live with your shop. And so whoever's not in Reading that's watching it can buy the product and you'll ship it to them. So that's a super hack secret for everyone on the call. That's what you should be doing, especially if you need cash. You need to be doing. Farmers markets are very inexpensive, and they're coming there to look for products just like that. Absolutely, absolutely. So as long as the corporation is set up in the US and you're able to take money, because at the end of the day, that's the most. So you need to set up the company and the bank account before you leave. Everything else you can do online, right? You can do online. Absolutely, you can do it remotely. To the point, if you were the one making the product, the answer would be no, because you got to be there making the product. If you find a co-man that can do it, I have clients right now that sit in Israel. I have clients that sit but their sales market is the US. It's a US market. Their corporations here, they hire us to do things for them, and we do it for them. But it's your bank account because you have to receive money and pay for vendors. So think of it as I'm going to call for a kitchen. Let's call it a kitchen for a better word. And they make product for a lot of people. And they're going to have MOQs. They're going to say, hey, I can't make you 10 of them. My MOQ's 1,000, 10,000. I'm picking a number, right? And then you're going to supply them with the bottles or the Tetra Pak. You're going to supply them with the base or the ingredient, or you're going to tell them to buy these things. I don't know how many raw ingredients does it go in to make your product? Approximately. Okay. So you're going to say, these are the five. Here's my recipe. This is how I do it. And the first time you will be there to make sure they do it right. And then they will continue to do it. Right. So it's a co-man. So they're gonna give you a cost of, I'm gonna pick a number, $3. Okay. It cost me $3 to do this, and 10,000 of them is $30,000. And now your COGS is $3. And then you're going to sell it for at least $10 or more. I'm just giving round numbers, right? right? But you have to pay the co-man to make it. Was that helpful? Set an appointment and on there, and we could discuss helping you launch the product, setting up the corporation, the trademark, all those things. Okay. So two things. Yes, you can sign NDAs. People ask us all the time. It doesn't matter, but yes, you can sign it. But let's assume the way the spices are mixed, that's your secret sauce. You mix the spices and send them to them, and they don't know what's in it. They just you tell them to put 4 ounces, and they put 4 ounces. You've seen products where it's a special blend, secret blend, something like that. So the co-man's going to mix everything else, and you can do it. Thank you. Any other questions that we have here? We got a few people on. We got Charles. We got May. Who else we got here? We got more people. Let's see. Do we have them on? Oh, we have a lot more on TikTok. Let's see here. I got James. I got Fresh, Caesar, Daniel. But let's see. Anyone have questions here? We got quite a bit here. No, I seeing questions here. No, 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 no. Okay. All right. So let me go back here. Sure, sure. We do. We do. But Shabu, I'm going to say, are you ready? Are you ready to go into Sprouts? Right. But then you might say, you go, what does that mean? Well, they're not going to do it if you're making it out of your house. So we'll start there. So we need the co-man, right? So that's step one. Then they're going to ask, you got to have inventory. You got to be able to give them 30 days, which then they take 60 days to pay. So you need to have that in place, right? You need that capital, right? The difference with TikTok, here's the difference with TikTok, right? You're selling immediately and you're getting paid immediately, right? And you're getting full retail price. So let's say your product sells for $10. I'm going to use that number. The store is going to want to make 40%. So they're going to want $4. So now you're selling it for $6. Then how do you get the product to the Sprouts? Right? They may need a distributor. So now you need a distributor in the middle. He's going to want to make 30%. It's 30% of $6, $1.80, right? So that's why it works, but you need to be, and we help you do all those things, right? So the answer is kit. And then we might go to Sprouts and say, hey, let's start regionally. Let's start with a few stores, right? We don't want to go in all of them. Let's start in a few stores. So that's the kind of help that we give. The answer is yes, we help, but we're also very careful. You need to be ready, which takes capital. I think so. On the right, if you want to talk to us about hiring us for any one of our programs, go in to sign up for a free one-on-one call. It's for the booking. Or if you want to show this to your wife or your partner, go into our YouTube channel tomorrow and you could take a look at it. Okay. All right. Fernando, I think we're good. We promised everyone we'd be done in the hour. We're done a little bit earlier, much less questions than last time. Well, normally we have a hot seat, but pretty much Shibu was the hot seat. We asked them a lot of questions. Next week, we already have a scheduled hot seat for a young lady, Florencia, who's launched a product, and we're going to help her put her on the hot seat and help her launch her product. So, all right, everyone, thank you. Have a good evening and watch us on YouTube. Go into LinkedIn. Go into LinkedIn and sign up. Please go in LinkedIn and sign up. And then also go to Amazon and get the book and take a look at it, and you'll become an MBA in wholesale distribution. All right. Thank you, everyone.